Thank you, though.
Early.
Is Danny coming?
I got my own. You got your own?
Anybody heard
Well,
anything
you
from
all are
Danny?
bringing your own.
I haven't heard from Danny.
Haven't heard from Danny.
He was out of town last night, I was told.
All right, we're gonna get ready to call the meeting to order.
Thank
Susan,
you.
can check that. No, it ain't, because this one's from this one to that one, and this one's from this much from this one again. If there's two different ones. Coming out of the shelter fund.
I don't know.
Damn Democrats.
What they want.
Oh, it's an additional.
Okay,
David, stand up.
all right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We will begin with the adoption of the agenda. Does anyone have any items to add? I know I do.
Have I given you other ones?
I think so. All right. So I will add item number 10, LAO programs financing. Item number 11, appointments, upcoming appointments. Item number 12, this is gonna be a long one. I just combined a bunch. Updates on detention center bond, 1782 notice and property tax rate, and home rule funds.
Detention bonds, 1782 notices,
Yep, and property tax rate,
property tax rates.
and then home rule funds.
Would you repeat 10 again? I was distracted.
Yeah, LAO program. And home rule funds on, at the end of that one.
Okay.
Item number 13, town hall meeting. Anyone have anything?
I think you covered it all.
Possible change in next
Oh.
month's meeting?
Yes, December meeting date.
Just town hall meeting.
Mental health, just an update on that, yeah. Okay, anyone have anything else that they would like to add? Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Charlie,
I second it.
second by David. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Ooh.
Where the heck's everybody at?
Lynn couldn't make it tonight. She was the only one I heard from.
I have not heard from Danny or Paul.
Neither.
I know Danny was out of town last night, but I don't know. And then I don't know if Paul's back in Florida or not yet.
Surely he is.
All righty, well, no one leave because we'll lose our quorum.
Yeah.
All right, that is the adoption of the agenda. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes, the public hearing from September 15th and the regular September 23rd, 2021 council meeting. I did have one correction that I'm so excited
He's
to
so
make.
excited.
Let me see.
Which minutes was it?
The 23rd,
Okay.
on the normal, not on the normal section.
On the normal section?
Yeah, not the income tax. It says, under agenda, it says the minutes were approved as presented.
You are excited about that one, aren't you?
So I would make a motion to amend the minutes to say the agenda was approved as presented.
Yeah.
I guess I won't even make that a motion. I will make that a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I
All's in
think
favor? What?
I think that's pretty minor.
It is.
Thank you, David.
Well, I just did,
I would have thought that would come from David.
I know, that's why, David didn't fight it, that's why I was so excited. I got a motion and second to amend the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome.
Any comments from the public? Limiting them to 4 minutes today, because we've got a lot to go through. Perfect, I'm on time yet.
Actually, I didn't say I was testing you.
The reason I was coming for you is I just want to let you know on.
Can you, Jim, can you announce your name just for everyone?
Jim Carter, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I apologize.
No, you're good.
Anyway, I gave you a copy of.
Is the microphone not on?
Yeah.
I think it's
I'll say
on. I
this, I
think
can't
he's,
It never works when I'm.
I think it's open there.
That's on purpose.
No, seriously.
When you got to, closer to
Mine's
it.
off. It's-
would.
You're good.
Okay.
Okay. It's my voice. Anyway, what Tuesday, as you know, I met with commissioners and I presented a plan. I started to present a plan for the cost of bringing an animal control officer and opening up the shelter. One of the things they were questioning about, and I've got that information, but I bridged it well enough that I just give you a one-page estimate of the cost as the previous cost or the previous estimated costs, and for both and our single, and gave you the estimate for the what I propose. And really boils down to is what I propose is half the cost of what the previous estimate would be cost for both, because obviously, you'll see the estimated cost for the a sheriff deputy, which the sheriff provided that information, and then your estimated cost for operating a shelter. And that's, I've been, this figure of 90,000, maybe even less. I think this would be the minimum, and I'm, from talking to the former employees at the shelter, I came up with close to a $40,000 estimated management cost. So anyway, if you look at the projected, my projected cost as opposed to the previous estimated cost, you're going to see that in each time it's way lower than it was before, and it's opening the shelter, and it's giving us an animal control officer. And something came up at that meeting, which some of the people in the state don't know this, but I mentioned that I was preferring to look for, me personally, for a single person because it would save the county almost $9,000 on their budget. But immediately I got reproached because they said I couldn't do that. Well, actually, that's not correct. The state law, there is no state law for if you want, you can hire a male or female, and you can discriminate. There is no discrimination law in the state of Indiana. In fact, there is no federal law for any, but there are states that have that law, but Indiana does not have a statement has anything to do with marital status when it comes to discriminating on employment. So that's another big fallacy that people don't know. Second one is there is also a federal level for federal employees. So I want to make that clear because I run into this all the time with people hearing things, assuming things, and never actually, and I get this all the time. So I just want to let you know there is no Indiana state law that you cannot discriminate when you're hiring for marital status, okay? And that was a big thing because I want to save the county $9,000. So is there you got any question? And we have an attorney here. He can either vouch or say he didn't know.
Well, we can discuss that some other
Well, I talked to Chris, by the way, Wednesday morning and explained to him, showed him some information and documentation, and I said, please look this up because it could, in the last 6 months, obviously, change. So that's based on the information I had as of April of this year, okay?
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else in the public? No? Okay. We will close public comments. Alrighty. Next on the agenda is transfers. Oh boy. Okay, within the county general fund, in the Perry County Treasurer's budget, $600 for equipment repair, $769.09 in tax statement mailing contract, to office equipment for $670, and to office supplies for $699.09. Amanda, do you mind just speaking on that
No,
shortly?
that's fine.
Quickly? We did get your equipment.
Hi, I'm Amanda Lasher. I'm the treasurer. We call it in our office, we have a dinosaur printer. So our IT person says, and the copier, who knows how long it's going to last at this rate. So we are getting, wanting a printer, copier, scanner in our office.
Because you currently don't have a scanner, right?
That is correct. So, and then just cartridges and paper and all the other type of office supply stuff.
Okay. Anyone have any
Any
questions?
questions?
For Amanda? Okay. Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion.
Got a motion by
Second.
Erla, second by David. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I abstain.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 with one abstention. All right.
All right, thank you.
Alrighty, next transfer within the county general fund, $51 from travel to council attorney within the Perry County Council budget. Only $4,949 was appropriated for Rod.
I'll make this motion.
So we gotta make up the rest of the contract. I got a motion by Charlie and a second by David. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none. Since David said so, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed. Motion carries 4-0. Next transfer within the general fund, $5,000 from Social Security, $7,064 from retirement, $3,000 from travel, $1,000 from official bonds, and $5,000 from workers' compensation to liability insurance for a total of $21,064 within the Perry County Commissioner's budget. Do you mind explaining that? Because I don't know if I have.
I gave you all new papers. You've got all new papers of all the transfers.
Oh,
I gave you
Oh.
a big packet of all the new transfers.
okay.
But I mean, I don't know what it says, I can explain it.
Liability insurance expenses exceeding the appropriated budget.
Yeah.
This will bring the balance out of the red back to zero.
Yeah, what happened is that with the new vehicles that were purchased, we leased a lot of other vehicles, and all with the new stuff going on, it increased our insurance coverage that we needed, and we had some other things with buildings that increased, so it pushed us over to what we need, and plus we had the multi-factor too.
Yes.
So that all comes out of that line item, so.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, they're vehicles that we had to, I mean, we have to insure them, but with the cost of them, and because I think they're newer too,
Mhm.
that drove our insurance up higher than what it was. And we were not budgeted for it, but that's why with next year's budget, we requested to have the extra 20,000 put in for 2022. So to help out with this for next year, so we won't have to do an additional. Well, or transfer, we actually were hoping not to do an additional, that's why we
I
found the
see, yeah.
money to transfer within the budget.
That's good.
To take care of, so we didn't have to do an additional.
So that's why we gotta think long-term about purchases.
There's always those hidden costs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I would entertain a motion on this transfer.
I'll make that.
Got a motion by Erla,
I'll second.
second by Charlie. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Next transfer. $7,500 from animal shelter contract to outdoor kennel and supplies, and $15,000 from animal shelter contract to animal control services. For a total of 22,500. Okay.
And Pam, I had a question on that one before you guys correct me. Did we do 75 and 15, or did we just raise it to 15 total?
No.
No,
You
you
did
did
both.
both. 7,500.
Well, that's not what I thought I motioned on, so I apologize there. I'm surprised that it's that.
Well, if I'm right, when we
Well-
said, because the 7,500 was already done
This is all we have.
for the outside kennels
we
and the
got
stuff
new
that need to be done there.
Where is it?
Then when we talked
what
that
she
night,
gave us.
because you guys said you were putting in
Turn the
extra
page.
too to take care of the
Wait, hold on a
costs.
second.
Because you said bills were gonna start coming in for
Is that
Harrison
Okay.
County.
15,000?
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be that $15,000 worth.
Well, and what's not used
Oh,
will go
will
back
go
in.
back, so-
It will go back.
They initially just signed it.
Okay.
I just wanted,
And that
I
was
wanted to
just kind of
clarify
the-
that.
Right. They
Well,
did.
that was
I was a little
the, me and
caught off
Teresa
guard.
were on the same wavelength, but I guess we weren't on the wavelength you were then.
I just caught off guard.
You had to use two different line, you had to use two different line
Yeah, but the
items.
real question about it, what we didn't talk about is, at the end of the year, that money's gonna go away, so you might as well, you've already
Well,
appropriated.
it's spend it for no reason,
I'm
but.
not saying you won't be, you know that. I agree with what you said, I heard that too, that there was
That money
some
goes
discussion.
And it just goes back,
Teresa
let's go back
and
into
Pam will
cash.
Kind of clarify that, and it was confusing a little bit.
I just wanted to clarify for my own
Okay.
sake, because that's not what I thought but I'm okay with it, I'm not against it, but it's just, I don't think we'll use the whole 15, I just want you to know.
Okay, so it's total of 22.5, split into outdoor kennels and supplies and animal control services, total of $22,500. Anything not spent will just flow into the cash, so,
Right.
Which it would anyway.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, so. Does anyone have?
What does that leave in that fund, please? Is that subtract from what?
Yeah, I don't know, and it.
35?
I'm not sure, and if you, so people in the audience, people out yonder can hear you, so if you have any questions, come up to the microphone. But I don't know if we have, do we have balances?
You'll-
35,000 what was budgeted to begin with.
Right, that
Gotcha.
15's coming off of that,
Okay, that's,
Is 22.5.
22.5, both of those, okay.
Okay. Alrighty. So I entertain a motion on this transfer.
I'll make that.
Got a motion
I'll
by
second
Charlie,
it.
second by David, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Next transfer, in the Perry County courthouse budget, $3,600 from courthouse utilities, $1,600 to janitorial cleaning supplies, and $2,000 to janitorial services. Cleaning service recently implemented a new quarterly stocking method, which left us with a bill that exceeded the budget. This should level out going into next year. Yearly carpet cleaning for half the courthouse, strip wax that Army Annex has done. Those services were not budgeted, so. Anyone have any questions? I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make it.
You got a motion by Charlie,
I second it.
second by David, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Our next transfer within the general fund, $1,000 from part-time jail officer salary, $728 from assistant jail commander salary, to part-time matron salary for a total of $1,728. We'll just do these together. Then we have $1,000 from uniforms for jail officers to repair for appliances and equipment. Anyone have any questions? Any questions for Sheriff Nolan while he's here? Okay, hearing none, I entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by Erla,
I'll second it.
second by David. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Next, transfers within the cumulative capital development fund. $73 from copy machine maintenance to codification of ordinances. Expenses from American Legal Publishing exceeded the budget.
It is an agreement that we signed with them, that's why it cannot be in the bill.
Gotcha.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Got a motion by David. You don't sound very
I'll
enthused.
second.
Second by Erla. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Has the county considered going with any other codification service?
It has not been brought up to do that, no,
Okay.
not at this point.
Just wondering. Alrighty, our next transfer is within the local income tax, public safety county share. $25,000 from ambulance lease to ambulance service within the Perry County Commissioner's budget. There is $25,839 remaining in the county general for ambulance service, paid up through August. September loss is $27,025. We will need $1,185.46 to cover September plus October loss, which we haven't yet received. So this is just trying to move some money to make up for that subsidy, which we go through. I mean, this is all we have in ambulance lease. Or is there more left in ambulance lease?
No, I think this was the total amount.
Yeah, do you mind?
Teresa's coming.
You can't carry it over either because you don't have an actual lease, so we would go back to general.
Right.
ledger.
Yes.
And in your budget year, what we normally subsidize for the ambulance service is November of the previous year through October of the current year, because we never get November and December's P&L in time, so that always gets paid in the next year. So we only expect one more profit and loss statement after the September one that we
This
have.
will take care of it then.
We hope.
As long as October stays within what the balance would be after the $25,000 transfer, then we should be okay.
But the 25 was all we had in.
25 was in the ambulance lease. It was at one time thought that that would be held back in case they were going to look at purchasing a new ambulance and wanted to carry over that into the new year. But since we just recently got a new ambulance, the commissioners have agreed that there would not be a need for an ambulance payment.
We shouldn't have to budget an ambulance payment until 2022, and then actually make the first payment in 2023 based on the payment schedule.
Okay.
And anything, if, you know, for some reason October comes in better than expected, then anything that's left will go back in to the fund. Okay,
All right, thank you, Teresa.
thanks.
I entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by David,
A second.
second by Erla. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Okay. Next, additional appropriations within the Perry County General Fund, $28,000 meals for prisoners within the Perry County Jail budget. Sheriff, do you mind explaining the situation?
So as you look at our population in 2020, it was down because of COVID. And plus now in 2021, our prices have gone up. So that's why we wanted to ask for the $20,000 that should get us to the end of the year. We have checked from other places to try to get it cheaper. The problem with that, you have to buy so much to even get to be a vendor with them. So we have reached out a couple different places. We might be able to do some, but not a whole lot. And if you look, we did some research on what we got, and the prices are going up. We can't even get the generic stuff. We have to pay full price just for the just to get through. And I apologize, but
It is what it is.
yeah, again, our population is up also this year than it was last year because of COVID.
It's up.
Yeah, our population is up. Last year, if you saw, we were able to keep it pretty low, Rod, don't you think?
Yeah.
But this year it is back up.
More peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Can't do that.
How about fresh water?
It's probably for you.
Repeat
Hey, if you gotta come up to the microphone.
Okay. I just have a question about this since it's an additional appropriation. Sorry, Kelly Harding. About, I guess it's for him or maybe you guys, I'm not sure, but like the inmates that we house from Evansville.
Mhm.
And I know they give us, how much do they give us a day or?
35.
$35 a day. So how much do those inmates actually cost us? Like how much, you know, with the food and the transportation and I don't know if medical, if they paid for the medical or, you know, the extra staff, the utilities, all that stuff. Are we actually even breaking even?
We don't
on
bring,
that?
oh yes, absolutely. You can
So
see
you have
over
a breakdown of-
you can see over the years, I've saved a lot of money to the inmate housing. We bought vehicles. We have paid for a lot of different things. We've been able to give stipends. I understand your question, but no, it does not cost very much for those 10 inmates.
Okay, I didn't know if there was like a breakdown of the cost versus what we actually get, like from the 35, how much does it actually cost us to house one a day?
$35.
I mean, what is our actual cost? Because we have staff, we have utilities, we have food, we have medical, we have transportation. I know we're getting 35.
Is that
but-
easy way to break down? No, it's not. I mean, I don't have to.
To
pay
make sure
medical.
we're not going
Right.
backwards, I
I don't
guess.
have to pay for medical. If I have any inmates come up with any, from Vanderburgh County, they have any medical, the bills go to them. Does that make sense? That was the deal that we made when we decided to take inmates from other counties. And that's what we've been doing. Any dental, any kind of medical or something like that, that's where we send those.
Does it require you to have any extra staff?
No.
No.
And those inmates are going to go anywhere here, you know what I mean? So is it going to raise our electricity? Will it raise our water a little bit? Is it going to raise a little bit, but any more staff? No, I'm still going to need that many.
Yeah.
And
I'm
they
just
do all
curious
the
about all the other things.
transportation themselves, don't they, Alan?
Absolutely, if they have transport, they come and get them.
Yeah.
You know, take your total and divide it, you come up with
I was just curious
the
about
cost
that.
is.
Since it's $35 a day, there has to be a
What's
cost associated with each person that's in jail.
Yeah.
I mean, so if it's 20 and we're making 15, that's, you know, but do we really truly know how much each person in jail costs us every day for our whole operation? I
If
mean,
you
I would be curious to see what that is.
If you see over the last 4 years, we brought in almost $400,000 to Perry County just for housing inmates from Vanderburgh County.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I understand that they're giving us money, but I'm just curious as to how much it actually costs per day for any inmate. One day for an inmate to be there, if we divide all the costs out.
Once you count in water, electricity,
Yeah, staff.
security,
Yeah.
staff, it does cost. But that jail was going to be there anyway. So why not bring those inmates from Vanderburgh County to help us offset that cost? Does that make sense?
Lower your overhead, is
So-
that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
And some of your costs remain fixed, no matter
Oh,
how
right.
many you have
That's
in
why I said
there.
overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overhead's fixed cost.
Right.
I was just curious if you knew what it actually
You
cost
probably
for
have
one
it, you
inmate.
probably just,
You could probably
probably
figure
come
that
up
out,
with it,
Kelly,
maybe-
you take the number, you know. if
Well, I mean,
you
I
want-
couldn't do it. I would
We
just.
try to keep it like
Yeah,
$2 a meal
yeah,
or something like that.
All the expenses divided by the number of inmates you've had during the year.
you could come up with
You
an
could come up with a
average.
rough number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd just be curious to see what that is, if you could get that. I'll email you.
Are you happy, Alan, are you happy with that situation?
Jim, if you got,
Am I happy with what?
Of the way that.
I'm never happy that I have to ask for money. No.
I'm happy, are you happy with having that, what you're doing? You're happy with that?
Absolutely. I mean, you guys see what we bring in every year with the inmate housing.
And if I could add something, Jim, the council's happy too, because he uses a lot of that money for things that doesn't come out of our general
I'm
fund,
absolutely
so.
happy too. If Alan's happy.
It's a win-win situation.
I entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries 4-0. All right, next, within the Enhanced Access Fund in the Perry County Recorder budget, $1,000 for Laredo, usage
The
fee.
streets of Laredo.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a song.
When we had our budget sessions, I had told you that we were asking for more money next year. As it turns out, we didn't have enough for this year. We've picked up several more new remote users, and so that's why we need an additional appropriation.
All righty, thank you, Jane. All right, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by David.
I'll second.
Second from Erla. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Next item on the agenda is Sheriff Alan Malone, discussion on part-time salaries. Could've just kept you up here.
So currently, the correctional officers, for part-timers, which we only got really one, maybe two right now, they only pay them $12 an hour. And I would like to,
What was that amount?
$12 an hour part-time. I'd like to see if we could raise it up to $14 an hour. I've got one who does a very good job, always dependable. She's actually going to work this weekend. We've got several right now on isolation. Officers cannot come in because of COVID. And people like this time, at times like this, we need those part-timers. And to pay them $12 is not I don't agree with that, so I would like to raise that up to 14.
Do you have the salary ordinance for next year
Yes.
somewhere? Have you thought about financing what funds you would?
The inmate housing fund, you thought?
Well, I mean, we can use the inmate, all we can, but if we can just get it up to, the budget is still the same, but we're just asking for more money out of it, you know what I mean? I haven't have to come to any additional for the part-time.
Gotcha.
Does that require an amendment to that?
So next year, for 2022, it's 1248. So you would like to see it up to 14?
14.
Okay.
And then for deputies, I know we've talked about this before. Tell City's paying 25, and Candleton's paying 25, and we're only paying 20, and we're having a hard time. We're going to be short for the next 14 months trying to get part-time deputies because Payline is going to be gone. Also, we do have a deputy who's going to be leaving us, so that's going to make us short there also. Try to get somebody else. So I'd like to raise that up to at least $27.50.
So for part-time for next year is going to be $28.80, and you said $27.50?
Yes.
Okay.
27.
Up to $27.50.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
And that's going to be paid out of his salary, correct, for the time being? Or are you using the part-time people to fill
Mhm.
in for Payline?
Mm-hmm.
So technically, that's coming out of that salary there.
but
Part-time, do we have to transfer?
Well, we'll have to
salary
do,
part-time?
he'll have to come back for a transfer.
Right.
It's not
Beginning of the year.
coming out of the general
Yes.
fund.
The budget is there.
Oh,
We
so-
just want.
so you're talking about using the deputy that's gone, his budgeted salary.
We can transfer some of that, yes.
To help with.
Pam, that's what you
Right.
told us before.
You can transfer it out of this year's budget.
Right.
And, and next year.
And
too.
next year.
Yeah, because he'll be gone next year.
I guess we'll just.
I'm
have
on
to-
the page now.
We'll have to see a breakdown of how much that is and how much that will help out, but.
Is it
before
enough to
we-
cover that? We don't know that yet, right?
Right, we'll have to look at that, see
I
if
might
it's.
have sick, I might have, who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
But I'd like to raise that so I can get it to $14 for the correctional officers and $27.50 for the deputies.
okay. All righty, we'll take that under advisement and figure something out.
Okay, thanks.
Do you want to, or Pam, can you cover this next part about the pension?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Sheriff.
Alan, you want to tag with me on this one?
Sure.
Where are you going?
You brought it to me, I didn't know about it until you brought it to me, so I'm gonna let you talk. I'll fill in.
Okay. As far as the life insurance, as far as the county employees' life insurance, when we did the new proposals or the renewals, the commissioners voted to increase the life insurance of the county employees from a $15,000 to a $50,000 policy with AD&D and with a line of duty for public safety employees, which includes the
Correctional officers
correctional
and the
officers.
deputies.
Not the deputies. Well,
Yeah,
it would include.
they're already
the
on there,
deputies.
yes.
It would include the deputies, but
But it's
we.
paid differently.
But, right, but the deputies are paid differently. So when the sheriff deputies, we pulled out of
Heard.
what we pay when we went on to sheriff's pension because they were able to get a higher life insurance policy through the sheriff's pension than what the county offered. So they're receiving $25,000 through the sheriff's pension. Well, when the commissioners, we decided, the trustees brought it to commissioners and they voted to increase ours, I went to see what we could do to increase the deputies, to make sure that they were on the same playing field as what we were. And it's for $600 more, we can get the deputies with the $50,000, the AD&D, and the line of duty also, and it will come through the sheriff's pension like it is now.
Are you saying 600 total?
Yeah,
$600.
Wow.
For the whole department?
for the sheriff's deputies, yes.
Right, okay.
Mhm.
I think you thought you meant 600 per office.
No.
No, I
No,
thought
Elaine
she
told
meant
me,
600.
Elaine told me only around a $600.
Across the board.
increase. Yep, yep.
I think
So-
I'll make it.
That's a no-brainer.
So there is an amendment.
I think I found a typo.
Oh, here we go, David.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Okay, good.
I didn't do that, so you can.
It
find
says in the
typo.
face amount of $5,000 instead of 50.
Oh, okay. I did not do that, but
Do I need to read this, I guess?
I would probably.
Yeah, okay. So, thanks, Sheriff. All right, this is a first amendment to Perry County Police Benefit Plan. Whereas Perry County Police Benefit Plan was established by Perry County Sheriff's Department, Tell City, Indiana, effective as of January 1st, 2018. And whereas by Article 3 of the plan, the employer reserved the right to amend the plan with the approval of the merit board and the county fiscal body. And whereas the employer desires to amend the plan in certain respects heretofore considered and discussed, now therefore be it resolved that Section 2 of the plan shall be amended effective as of January 1st, 2022 to read as follows. Section 2, insurance. Each eligible employee shall be insured by a life insurance contract in the face amount of $50,000 with a matching amount of accidental death insurance. The employer shall purchase or direct the trustee of the supplementary trust agreement to purchase and maintain the necessary insurance contracts from a legal reserve insurance company. A witness of its adoption of the foregoing amendment to the plan, the employer has caused this amendment to be executed as of the 18th day of November. And then signed by the fiscal body. So that's, Rod, do we only need one reading of a resolution? Or do we need to read it by title only second time?
Right.
Okay. So I'd entertain a motion to
I'll
read
make
it
that motion.
read it a second time by title only?
Mhm.
So, do I have a motion, I got a motion by David.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Got a second by Erla. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Second reading. First amendment to Perry County Police Benefit Plan.
I'll make a motion.
To approve
To approve.
the amendment?
I second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, guys. I think that's very
Perry County
good for the
Sheriff's
workers.
Department.
How many employees does that cover, roughly?
9, is it, Sheriff?
Excuse me?
Is that 9 deputies that covers the sheriff's pension?
10.
10. Oh, I didn't count you, did I?
No.
Sorry, missed you.
Nobody does.
Okay, next item on the agenda is discussion on grant procedures resolution. So, we started talking at the beginning of this year about a procedure on grants, and it kind of caused a little stir, and then it died down. But after our audits, I feel like we really need to have some sort of procedure in place. So I put together this draft resolution. It's not set in stone, but I'll just read this just as an idea of something that we could do. So this is resolution of the Perry County Council on the establishment of grant procedures. Whereas the State Board of Accounts holds the audit position that counties should have established procedures for the grant process, and whereas the State Board of Accounts holds the audit position that grants should be appropriated, and whereas the Perry County Council believes it is best that Perry County align with the State Board of Accounts audit positions, and whereas the County Council is the fiscal body of the county and therefore should be aware of all sources of revenue in order to make appropriate budgetary decisions. Now therefore be resolved by the fiscal body of Perry County, Indiana as follows. Section 1, grants of personnel. Grants utilized for the purpose of paying all or a portion of a salary or salaries must be approved by the County Council prior to application. However, if the grant has been applied for and awarded in the previous fiscal year, prior approval by the council is not required. If such is the case, the applying department or agency must come before the County Council at the earliest meeting possible to present the grant application and budget. If the grant is awarded, such monies will be added to the county's salary ordinance. Section 2, grants for all other purposes. Grants utilized for all other purposes besides paying all or a portion of a salary or salaries do not require council approval prior to application. However, the applying department or agency must come before the council at the earliest meeting possible to present the grant application and budget. Section 3, grants requiring a match. Grants that require the applying department or agency to match a certain amount of funds must be approved by the council prior to application. Section 4, grant application requirements. Grant application must show the Perry County Auditor's Office at 2219 Payne Street, Tell City, Indiana 47586 as the address for notices and payments. Section 5, record keeping of awarded grants. If the applying department or agency receives a grant, a copy of the award letter and all of the paperwork received must be provided to the County Auditor's Office. Furthermore, any and all communication, correspondence, or changes made between the applying department or agency and the grantor must be provided to the County Auditor's Office. The applying department or agency has a responsibility of complying with the grantor's reporting requirements. Final reports must be provided to the County Auditor's Office. Section 6, appropriation of grants. Grants awarded that do not operate on a calendar year will be appropriated.
I was bound to spell it.
Oh my gosh, will be appropriated by the county council through the additional appropriation process. Grants that do operate on a calendar year will be appropriated during the budget process. So that was a combination of a bunch of different, I know Pam at the beginning of the year reached out to tons of counties. So that was kind of a combination of everyone's grants, but I think we do need to look at some sort of formal procedure.
I went to the state, the lady from the State Board of Council on a few questions, and the first thing that was told to me, what's your policy? And I said, we do not have one. And the reply was, you need to get that.
Yeah, they've been saying that for a while, I think, and I don't know if this is the right one, but this is just an idea to get some people's minds turning.
We definitely need to do it. I think to be in compliance, the State Board of Accounts, it's not an option.
Yeah, and I know when we first talked about this at the beginning of the year, there's some
Yes.
departments hesitant because what if the deadline's this, and so I think this might be a happy medium where if it's for personnel, we need to know about personnel. That is our job. But maybe for grants for equipment, maybe we can find out at a later point. I don't know. But so.
Luke, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is that for every grant, or just like sometimes I get grants for equipment and it's not a match or anything?
Well, say, I don't know, it wouldn't need, for equipment, it wouldn't need prior council approval, but we just like to know about it.
Awesome.
So like after you apply for it, you just come before us and say, hey, I applied for this grant for a vest or something, and this is what it was
Like
for.
you received before United Way, right?
Yes.
Right.
So
And you've always kept us informed of those, I think.
So it's just letting us know what's going on.
Okay.
If you have a question, you gotta come up to the microphone, sure. Just for the people at home.
Well, this is the same question I had the other day, but you guys are the ones I want to ask. On the grants,
Okay.
if there is no initial cost or match, don't you have to look at that extended cost after the grant?
Yeah, just I guess it depends on what is being purchased with the grant, but yeah, that's something I think that's something for the departments to consider, not certainly us, but it does.
It would come out of
It
the-
will come to us eventually, so it's something
Okay.
that we would hope that the departments would be aware of, so it doesn't fall on the county at a later date. So,
Okay, if it does, it does, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like the insurance increase, you know,
Right.
if it's for a vehicle,
Right.
there's cost there.
So maybe that's something we also need to consider in the procedure. So, I don't know. But I just wanted to throw that at you all. So, keep that in the back of your head, and then maybe next meeting we can talk a little bit more in depth.
Okay.
Commissioner Jarbo?
Yep.
Still not used to that. One thing to fix that part too is to have a minimum. So like if it's below a certain amount, it's just an informative. If it's above a certain amount, then you have to get prior approval. That would keep things like vehicles and that stuff off the radar so that you would know,
Yep.
because anything that's going to have a high enough asset level that you're going to have insurance or taxes or something. Well, you wouldn't have taxes, but you know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying on it.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, lots of stuff for us to consider, but I think we need to have something in place for January 1.
Yeah.
So, at our next meeting, we need to adopt something. So, we'll work on that. Okay, next item on the agenda is low program financing. This has been discussed for, I feel like, a whole year now. But the commissioners signed an agreement with Lao pending confirmation from this council and the ARP committee that they would be paid for somehow. So we already put down $20,000 in the 2022 budget. So I feel like this council is saying that they're committed to making sure that this happens one way or another. But we'd like to see a larger portion come out of the American Rescue Plan funds. But I think it needs to be co-funded. I don't think we should throw it all on American Rescue Plan, but that's something for that committee to decide.
That was my motion, can I?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm the one that actually made that motion for both this council to actually request it, because I didn't feel like it was right for us to just take money out of ARP without someone officially requesting it. So that was the purpose of that.
Yeah.
And the other one is just what you said. If it can be split, that's great, because we can always use that ARP money for other things as well. But we know that it's a need. We do support it.
Yes.
But we wanted an official request for an official amount so that we know what we're doing there. And then I also requested that the ARP wasn't bypassed, because that we put that committee in place for a reason.
Yep.
We need to follow that. So
Yeah, I agree.
that's why I made those motions.
Okay, yeah, totally understand.
When you say split, you're not talking 50-50.
Well,
I'm not the percentage, do I?
Here's my question.
I'm okay with,
I'm supportive of doing it, and I'm also supportive of using ARP money for it. But you know more about your budget than what we would. You know what you can do, what you can't do. Right. So that's all we're asking is you to make that official request so that we know that you put the thought into it.
Right.
Right?
Okay. Look, my concern regarding this is you're talking about taking money out of the general fund. As tight as our budget is, I'm a little concerned on that. Plus, that ARP money, because of losses, there's a lot of it could be recouped.
Right.
And my opinion is, I would like to see us ask for 2 payments from out of the ARP for 50% of it each time. One out of the money from this go around, and next year when we receive that additional money. I feel like, because I'm afraid it's going to put a strain on our general budget. Here we go.
There is a $10,000 discount, though, if you pay it all at one
Right.
shot, just so that you're aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We need to
or
take.
do we want to ask for it all this year?
We could, but I know that we will have to get money out the door on it by sometime in January, so.
Well, I think that was one of the questions, that if we would make that tonight at the ARP, and if that board agreed on it, it would go through the next 2 steps right away.
But this council is, for the sake of your motion, this council is, we already put $20,000 down, so.
Correct.
I'd say we are supportive of that.
Yes.
Okay, alrighty.
So I can say that we made it through.
Yeah, let's make a motion.
Maybe
Let's
one
let's make a
more.
motion.
There
there
you
we go.
I will make that motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Charlie.
I'll second it.
And what is the motion?
The motion is,
Supportive of,
The support of using ARP money for this.
funding.
Funding ARP.
It's contingent upon a very specific number. You need
Right.
to give a number. You need to ask for
Okay.
an official number.
Okay, then my motion is that we ask for 50% of the cost this year and 50% of the cost next year from the ARP fund,
okay,
minus the 20,000 we've already added for next year.
okay. We got a motion by Charlie for asking the council, or the ARP committee for half and half over 2 years,
okay.
plus the 20,000.
That's something too, we'll need to go back to Lyle and make sure on that.
Yeah, so the payment options from Lao were either all at once,
Or it was broken
or
up
over
as far
3
as
years,
payment thing.
right?
Mhm.
Well, then okay, let me amend my motion that we we ask for ARP money to pay the total amount this year, the first of the year,
Okay.
And to pay total minus the 20.
minus the 20.
And then we get the.
And then you get the
10,000.
10,000 discount.
So,
Okay.
I will second that
Thank you.
motion.
Okay. Got a motion and a second? Any discussion? I will say that my thoughts were that the county should probably put a little bit more money into it than $20,000 personally. But again, you lose out on $10,000 discount. Because I just don't want people to think that we're just grabbing what we can out of the ARP funds. But it needs to happen, so.
Definitely. We were not able to fund it through, when we had our budget hearing. We had to
Right.
cut it. And it's something that's very important for this county.
Can you explain what it is? I mean, I heard
Pam?
it, but just you guys talking.
Pam probably can give the best.
Pam would be able to give the
Okay.
breakdown.
Let me write something down here real quick. Right now, the county has been on our tax system since in the 90s. We have been on our financial system since 1989. And all we've had is updates through there. We are no longer able to grow from those systems. They are getting outdated. For what we do in our office does not flow easily over to the treasurer's office. She has to manually input. And actually with her treasurer's side right now, she actually has to put into 3 systems as far as trying to get the books balanced and doing the cash book. Where a new company, with the new system, we're doing financials and tax with the same company. So whenever they're doing through tax and writing checks like through settlement, it will flow right into our financial part and flow right over to the treasurer's part, where we have a lot less error for human inputting. It's gonna save us a lot more time. We're hoping to downsize a lot more paperwork, because we're gonna be able to do a lot more as far as with payroll. We're gonna push through as emails. We're really,
Makes it more efficient.
yes, and that's what we're looking for.
Amanda, do you want to speak to it at all?
Yeah, Amanda, you.
Yes. Again, Amanda Lasher, treasurer. Since I came in 2019, working in the treasurer's department, from day one, I'm like, all we're doing is telling one program, all 3 programs, telling it what to do. That's not efficient in my book. So, yeah, I've kind of been complaining since 2019. But finally it's happening. Thankful. Because the system we have now is just, to be honest, is horrible. It's just very inefficient, and this is way outdated. And then they don't even come physically here. If we need help, they don't show up.
Yeah.
You only can do so much over the phone. This new program, LAO, they come within 24 hours.
And we can say, and I know even on my side, we've seen them more in the last 2 months, even with what we've been trying to deal and get this done.
Right.
Than I've been here for 40 years, than what I have seen on my other 2 programs at this point.
Yeah.
So, and they say that will not stop. And that's all included in the one-time price, that every year, if we need them down here for training, they will come, no questions asked.
How often do you have to update their system? I mean, is there like a thing where it shuts off after 5 years if you don't buy another?
No, actually, with the systems we have now, we get updates. Sometimes they're quite frequently. And another thing is we have to.
Yeah, it's manual.
We have to manually do those updates, which is another thing. We're not IT people, we're not computer, but we have to manually do these updates and hope that we're getting them right so that the system works right. With LAO, they will manually, that all flows through, they do it from there.
And
it's backed up in the cloud.
Yeah,
another
backed up
thing
in the
is,
cloud.
it's like $8,000 cheaper on our yearly maintenance.
Oh, yes.
So I mean,
yes.
we're saving money on
We're saving money on our
too.
maintenance too, yes.
Yeah.
And we just had 4 employees, 3 from Pam and 1 from Amanda's office, to go up to Hendricks County. And they actually went into Hendricks County.
Yes.
And
To see
saw
it.
the program. They use this program.
It's
and then
a-
they had the training today.
Right. And to my understanding, it's night and day difference. It's just amazing. And I've done a lot of research, and everybody has wonderful things that said you'll never look back.
And I'd say from the council side, and making sure that our financials are in good order and human error is minimized.
And to
is-
keep the county growing is for what we need.
Yeah.
Right.
The commissioner's side.
Yeah.
Anything that we can do to automate this? is
Yes.
way better than
So.
Well, and I've been told that there's no room for improvement to the systems we have now.
No.
Because they are getting outdated. I mean, you're talking 1989 for our payroll and our
Right.
financial side.
I'm not discouraging the upgrade. I
Yeah.
think it's great.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I think this
Right.
explanation is great, and I think people will like to hear that.
And you know, I mean,
Mhm.
I've worked with the system for 40 years, so for me, it will be tough because I know this one inside and out, but I'm also willing to learn and to change. And, you know, there is a lot of room for improvement that we need to try to get away from. I'm still the paper and pen. And there's a lot of ways with this new system, we can get a lot away from this and do more. And it's
Lot
actually
of
saved
electronically.
better. Yes.
Instead of a lot of paperwork, killing
Yeah.
trees.
Simple example is pay stubs.
Yes.
Right.
I mean,
Wow.
We
just
can
being
issue
able to
those out through
email pay
email.
stubs and that kind of stuff.
It's
And
a
I
waste of
apologize.
paper.
Teresa, do you
I
have,
want to say something.
yeah, do you mind coming up?
No, I'm just listening to what you're talking about on the financing. This is a done deal. You're going to do it, right?
Right.
And the ARP money, that's not an eligible ARP. You're going to use it out of something that the county recoups back for losses. Is that right?
Yeah, it's.
Okay.
It comes out of AR,
Okay.
it comes out of AR.
Can you not just make a motion of intent to first of the year, do an appropriation, pay the whole thing, and then you can take whatever you get from ARP and then earmark some of that to recoup back in your county general? I mean, is that not an option? I mean, you're talking about trying to get ARP to approve something now that you're not really ready to do, but you know you're going to, it's going to come out of county general one way or the other, right?
No, they're talking that's coming out of ARP.
It can do that.
It's coming out of the county's lost portion.
But that lost portion comes into the county coffers, right?
No.
Oh, it doesn't.
Directly out of that fund.
We have to, anything that is spent out of the ARP money has to be paid out of that fund.
Gotcha.
We
But I see what
cannot
you're
pay it
saying.
in
You know,
new
that's where I
bills.
was just
Yeah.
trying to see if there was a way that you could do that without
Right,
having to
right.
earmark
So
that.
we can't move the
Okay.
money from the ARP
Okay.
to another fund.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
one thing
I
we
get
get
it.
Okay.
told, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for that explanation.
Yeah, that was a good try.
So we had a motion and a second, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I forgot what the motion was.
That we request the
Not gonna
full
lie.
funding.
Okay. Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? I kind of said my piece, but that's all I got to say. So all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Okay, moving on, because we got, who added all this stuff to the agenda? Okay, so really quickly, we have council appointments expiring December 31st of this year.
You all have a copy of them also?
Yes, we all should have a copy. I'll just run over these real quickly. Alcohol Beverage Board, a 1-year term, we have 1 position up. Public Library Board, a 4-year term, 1 position. Redevelopment Commission, 1-year term, 2 positions. I think that's it. So Alcohol Beverage Board, Public Library, and Redevelopment Commission,
Besides your own,
besides our own.
Right.
besides your
I
own
wanna
in-house positions.
Let you know ahead of time that I'm going to ask to be replaced from the recycling board because of a conflict of interest.
Okay. Alrighty, so for the public, Alcohol Beverage Board, Public Library, and Redevelopment Commission will be coming up at the end of this year. Next item on the agenda, I'll just go through this really quickly. Updates on the detention center bond. So when we did that local income tax change, part of this discussion was the local income tax adjustment and paying off the bond early, how much money would we have in that fund. So I asked Pam to ask Jason Simler of Baker Tilly?
Baker Tilly.
Baker Tilly, to put cash flow analysis together. And he did one based off paying it off on August 1st, 2022, which only left like $1.3 million. So I took it through 2022, paying it off January 2nd of 2023. That'd leave $2.4 million in that fund. $2.4 million. $2.4 million. to assist with jail operations and maintenance. So you got a copy of that little analysis there?
I think that was our calculations earlier.
It was, but I didn't think they were right, so I asked Jason Simler to do it, and I based this one off of his, so we were right. So that's that. One other thing, we got our 1782 notice, and Pam sent it back. It looked all good. Our property tax rate will drop by a whopping 1.18%, which is in the right direction, but not a lot. So that'll be good.
It's good.
1.18% less than you're paying this year.
So we should get our budget orders sometime in December.
Yes, great. So that's the property tax rate. Home rule funds. Was this part of the audit discussion that came up during audits?
It kind of came up whenever we were talking about.
Do you mind providing a short update on this?
No, home rule funds, all of our county funds, the ones that are mostly set are state board account numbers by the state. When grants come in, we have to give them separate numbers. And as long as a grant specifies what they are to be paid for, then that's how you use the grant. Home rule funds are other funds that if money comes in and we don't have a designated fund to put it in, we have to assign it a fund number. If there is not an ordinance associated with that home rule fund that specifies what it has to be paid for or used for, all those funds have to come through the county council for appropriation.
So we may be appropriating a lot more.
Yes. It's just a thing that, it's just kind of came up, so yeah.
Checks and balances.
Changes we have to make.
So that is an update on that. We have a public health town hall meeting on Monday, the 29th at 5 p.m. here. A presentation on mental health, substance abuse, and the cycle of poverty in Perry County. Open to the public. It'll be at 5 o'clock here on Monday, November 29th. And then lastly, Charlie, you want to talk about your December meeting request?
We're scheduled for December 16th for our next meeting, and I would like to see if the board would agree to move it to Wednesday night, the 15th.
Why?
I'm not going to be here on the 16th, and there's probably, I'm just asking for myself. I'm selfish, I'm sorry. I would like to be at the December meeting. But if it can't be, it can't be.
I have no problem changing it, but.
Then why'd you ask?
I don't see why.
You're a rough time.
Erla, are you good on the 15th of December?
What if it makes everyone else not be able to come?
Well, it would be 4 of us if we all 4 agree, but like there is.
I know.
No, I'm okay. I work the clinic that day all day.
Oh, yeah, that is.
But I can leave early. Everybody else works all day.
If it doesn't work out, then.
We could say no to Charlie.
I think we should.
Well, let's email.
Okay.
I'll send an email to the rest of the council and see what their
See,
feelings are.
and we'll go by the majority.
We got to do
That's
that right
fine.
here.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you, Charlie. If there's nothing else, and there's nothing else on the agenda, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Charlie.
Second.
Second by David. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank you.
What's this?
Oh, that is.
Crap, I forgot to say that.
That is Dad.